We all have this voice that is telling us that we are not good enough, that no matter what we do, we will not succeed, that the world is not safe and we should not trust people, or that it's not safe to speak our own truth. If you are here, the chances are really good that you already tried to silence your inner critic. Maybe you tried working with positive affirmations, or you just tried to think positive. But what if there is another path? If there is a way to understand this voice and stop silencing it, but more try to integrate it, try to work with it, and even maybe try to love it. Hi, my name is Neira. I am breathwork and shadow work coach, yoga teacher, and former pharmacist. And I'm here today to offer you some tools to help you to work with your inner critic. Let's first look at our brains. The voice that we call the inner critic is largely associated with the part of our brain that we call prefrontal cortex. It is the part of the brain that is responsible for planning, analyzing, and self-monitoring. It's not evil, it's just trying to protect us from making mistakes or being too much. But the problem starts when it starts being too harsh and too overactive. So if you find yourself in a spiral of overthinking, judging, doubting yourself, that means that your nervous system is activated and that your prefrontal cortex is actually on fire. Here's where breathwork comes in. By altering our breathing, we are changing our blood chemistry. And with breathing a lot of CO2 while we are dynamically breathing, for example, we are causing a state that is called respiratory alkalosis. This state is connected with the decrease of the activity in the prefrontal cortex, which means for you that your inner critic gets softer and you get better access to your intuition, your creativity, and your inner calm. This is why breathwork can help in a situation where you're already overwhelmed, where you're constantly judging, where you are in this spiral of thinking and not being able to come out. It's not about bypassing, it's not about suppressing any emotions, but actually about meeting them and calming your nervous system and seeing what's underneath in a really safe way. Now, what about positive affirmations? I'm sure we all tried positive affirmations. I remember when I started with my healing journey a couple of years ago, I had these big yellow post-its all around my apartment with positive affirmations. They were around my working space, in my bedroom on the mirror, in the bathroom on the mirror, and the thing was that I was not ready to really integrate these positive affirmations. So I would put them, I would change them now and then. I was coming back to it every couple of months. I would put them on my mirror and then just ignore them after 3 days. It was like they were not even existing there. I remember one funny situation when a friend of mine came to visit me, and there was this one post-it on my bathroom mirror that I was just ignoring for maybe a year. I was just even cleaning around it and being like, no, I don't see you. I'm not ready for you. And a friend came over and she was doing her makeup. We were getting ready to get to a party. And she was like, oh, you're working with positive affirmations. So cool. How are you progressing? And I was like, yep, not at all. Not at all. I see it and I ignore it. And I sometimes not even really but look at it. So why is this happening? Are positive affirmations good or bad? Neither. They can work in some cases, but most of the time the gap between our current state and the state that we want to reach, which is a positive affirmation in that case, is just too big. And our inner critic is listening to what we are trying to say to ourselves, and it's just being like, nope, I don't believe this. Nope, you're gaslighting me. Nope, this is not true. And maybe you found yourself in a similar situation where you're trying to say the positive affirmation and you feel this inner resistance, like, no, this doesn't feel really good. It's not what I really think about myself. So here's the shift. Instead of saying, I trust life, when you actually don't, and just suppress the existing feelings that you have and create even bigger shadow, maybe we can start asking why questions. For example, why might I be safe to trust life? Why there may be reasons in my current life where I can trust life? So what we are doing with this is opening space, creating this safe space for our inner critic to be curious, to find new possibilities, new truths. Because when we have a limiting belief about ourselves, our consciousness, our viewpoint is really narrow, and we only see the confirmations of what we already think about ourselves in our outer life, in our reality. But when we start asking these why questions, we are starting to create this, to lower this gap between our current state, which is a limiting belief, and our desired state. And we start to find reasons why this other state could be possible. How to work with this on a daily basis. In the workbook that I provided to you, you can find an explanation how to create your top 10 playlist of your most common thoughts. You can expand this playlist also to 100, or you can update it every time you want. But the idea is to start observing your thoughts the next couple of days and see which thoughts are mostly present. So it's also not just about finding the really limiting beliefs, but also the thoughts that are always occupying you. For example, what I'm going to eat, or what else is on my to-do list. So all of these thoughts that are taking energy from you, and then when you spot them, you put them in your workbook, and try to ask yourself also, if I would not be using energy of thinking about this, what would I do with this energy? Where would I put my energy, my intention into? This is mostly a good cue for you to see what are you actually avoiding. So when we create this top 10 playlist, then you can create out of it reframe it and create your why question. So next time you spot yourself in your day fighting with your inner critic and thinking about a certain topic, you can stop, pause, breathe, and then try to reframe it into your why question and see what is coming up for you. Sometimes maybe you will get some answer from your subconsciousness. Sometimes there will also be nothing, and it's just also okay to acknowledge in that moment that I don't know. I don't have to have answer on everything in this moment. Your healing can take time, and you can give yourself that time to understand what is really underneath in your subconsciousness. Another important thing is that no matter how long you work with your inner critic, the chances are good that your inner critic voice will always be there. Maybe it will change, maybe the topics will change, and you will learn a lot about yourself through working with your inner critic. But this is a part of our psyche, so it will always in some way be there. The idea is not to completely diminish it, to completely remove it, but the idea is to learn how to work with it, how to understand yourself better through this inner voice. And maybe in some certain time when you start working with this, you will be able to still have this voice there. No matter how often you did something, this voice will still be there, but it's not going to be a master of you anymore. But you will regain your power back again, and you will see this voice, you will work with it, and be still capable of going to your goals and achieving your dreams. Another tool that you will find here is a guided mini breathwork session that you can use in a case where your inner critic starts being too loud, too overwhelming, when you find yourself in a loop and cannot come out. So try it out. And the last thing is a beautiful guided inner journey with some somatic anchoring, breath awareness, and subconscious reprogramming, where we will be working exactly with these why questions and some somatic anchorings to really reframe your way of thinking and support you in the working with your inner critic. So I hope that the tools that I shared with you will help you on your inner journey. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, or send me a comment or a direct message if you want to share what came for you through these tools. If you feel that this touched something deeper in you and you want to go deeper into your practice, I invite you to join my monthly breath and shadow integration membership. And if you feel called to work one-on-one with me, please send me a direct message. So I thank you very much for your attention, for your time, and I wish you a beautiful life.